Hello, today I wanted to go back and show just a few other tips that you can use while you are organizing your files. And some of these tips will work both on the Mac system and also in Google Drive. And then they will also, of course, work on a PC. So the first one that I'm going to talk about is naming your files. So I've gone back to my file folder here of French Bitmojis. So I'm going to open it up. And if I want to rename this file so that it is has the date on it. So the date of this file was January 20th, 2021. I want to rename that. So I right clicked and I'm going to click rename. And I want to rename that so that it goes year first, so 2021, then the month with two digits, 01, and then the date, which was January 20th. So I'm going to rename it like that. You have to have the month, the year, 2 dates for the month, and then the day in order for the computer to put it in the right order. If I go ahead and I rename this, for example, January, it's going to put it in alphabetical order, and so now January is all the way down here. But if I change it and I put it with the rename, I compressed it. It's okay. Nobody panic. If I rename it and I put January, so 2021, and then 01, and then I say the 21st, it's going to move that back up and put it right under there. If I changed it and I said, for example, rename. So if I rename it now and I rename it to 2021 and then I don't put the 120, it's going to put it first. So that's why you have to have the 01 so that it's seeing this one as the actual first number. So I'm going to go back through, rename this just so it's in the right place. Doesn't really matter. It's not that important. 01 and then 21, and now it goes in the right order. Okay, so that's one thing that you can do. Now that works the same in Google Drive or Windows or Mac. I'm just happen to be using this right now. The second thing that I want to show you is that on the Mac, you can also make an alias. So an alias is like in Google Drive when we use the Shift Z to put two files in the same place. An alias can put two files in the same place. That's what an alias does. So let me go ahead and show you an example. So I'm going to go ahead and take this file right here, this one. Let me open it up. Oh, there's me at the computer. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and take this file. I'm going to right click and I'm going to say make alias. Now what it does is it makes a copy of that file and it says alias. So now if I want to go ahead and drag that onto my desktop or into a different folder, now I have an alias of that, and when I click on it, it's going to bring up that actual file. So see down here it says JPEG alias, but up here it brought up the actual file. So this is one way on the Mac. This also works on the PC that you can have a file in air quotation marks in two different places at the same time. This is pointing your computer to this actual file. So it's not two different files, it's the exact same file. Okay, so two last things that I'm going to show you. Let's say that I'm going to go to my Mama Panda and Bernie picture because that's funny. Let's say this is a document that I'm using all of the time. It's a template, it's a file I'm using all the time, and I want to have easy access to it. I can put this file on my dock. So here's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to bring up my dock down here. Here's my dock with all the stuff. And I'm going to go ahead and click and drag Bernie and Mama Panda down here to this side, and I'm going to drop it. Now you'll see it leaves this file right here where it says JPEG. Now I have to know what that is because it's not giving me a preview of it, unlike on the desktop where it gives me a preview. I can see what it is. But if I wanted to, then I can click and open that file right here. So if there's something that you're accessing all the time on your computer, an actual file, you can go ahead and open that, like an editable PDF or something like that. Okay, the last thing that I want to show you in this, and this is similar to, you can do this also on a PC, but I'm going to show you the way on the Mac since 90% of the devices in the district are Macs. So I got all these files right here, and I want to rename them all at one time because this is ridiculous. So I'm going to select the first file, and then I'm going to hold down what key in order to select all of them? Shift key, correct. Okay, so I'm going to hold down the shift key. So I've selected all of these files. They're blue. Right click. And I'm going to choose rename 9 items right here. And so right now it's telling me, what do I want to do? I want to rename the format. And I was already playing around with it, so it already says here. So you can do several things. You can replace the text. So I can say find where it says IMG and replace that with, you know, French. So it's going to give me an example. So it's going to find IMG, and then I'm going to replace that with French. Now, notice these first ones don't have IMG, so it's not going to replace that in those ones. So if I wanted to see it to be replaced, I'm going to go ahead and hold this one and then do that one. Rename. Okay, so here, instead of it saying IMG, it's going to say French, and then this long string of numbers, which seems quite silly. Still not very useful. I can add text. So right now I can add the text to the title. So if you have a whole bunch of files that you want to rename with the year, so I could put 2021, which is not how that's written, but I could put 2021. Oops. There we go. 2021. There I have all of it would look like this. And you can choose to have that before or after the name. And I can rename these all at the same time. So another thing that you could do is you can format here. So this is where it gets kind of fun. So I can say name and index. So let's say it's going to put a number here. So I'm telling it to name these files Bitmojis and then start naming them with number 1. Number 1 starts here. And where do I want this to have the index to happen? I want it to happen after the name. If I wanted it to happen before the name, then it would come before. So let's say again, I wanted to name this, I wanted to name it, I could do 2021 01. So it's telling me January of 2021, and then I can start my numbers at 1. And it's going to rename them like this. Still not super useful, at least in this option, but this is just an example. So I can also put the name and the date. So I can go ahead and rename all of these at, it's going to tell me the time right now. And then it's going to have also, oh, here's my custom format. So then I would tell it what I wanted it to say. So I might say Bitmoji. I'm not sure that this actually is that useful for these files. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to choose name and index, and I'm just going to title it French Bitmoji. And then I think I'm going to start it, I'm going to put the numbers after the name because that just seems nicer. And then I don't have these long strings of numbers that don't actually mean anything. I've actually named it something that's meaningful for me. I'm going to go ahead and rename those. And then voila, all of these have changed. So if you want to highlight a whole bunch of them at the same time, or I'm sorry, change a whole bunch of them at a time, that's usually called batch changing. You're going to click on the first one and then hold down which key? Pop quiz. The shift key, and then right click and choose rename. That's how you can do some fancy things in your Finder and rename files so that you can find them easily.